Hello students, welcome back. My name is Neeraj Paritha and this is your physics class. In previous class we are discussing two topics. First one is a linear motion, that is called a rectilinear motion, and the chapter name according to your syllabus and your module, that is a motion. After that we are discussed the one more topic, that is a small part of that chapter, that is a circular motion. Okay students, now that is a third chapter according to our modules, that is a Newton's law of motion. In previous chapters we are discussed about the motions. Now in that chapter we are discuss about the some Newton's law of motion. Means Newton's gives the many laws, and basically there are three laws are given by the Newtons which are describe the motion of a particles in some different conditions. Okay, so we started today's lecture with these three topics. First of all, we are discuss the force. What do you mean by the force and how we can calculate the magnitude and the direction of a forces. After that we are discuss the Galileo's experiment. Before Newton's give the some Newton's law of motion, but before the Newton's more scientists are given some different suggestion for basis on the Newton's law. Newton's gives the final law, but before that many scientists give the our ideas. So before the Newton's, Galileo's are given some properties and some discussion and some rules which are used by the Newtons, Now next we are discussed in today's lecture Newton's first law. There are three laws of a Newton's. So in that lecture we are discuss Newton's first law. And Newton's first law is completely based on inertia. Newton's first law is completely based on inertia. Okay, so we discussed the what do you mean by the inertia and how we can measure and what is the effect of inertia on Newton's laws. Okay students, so we start. First of all, we discuss what do you mean by the force. If in a daily life someone asks, now apply the some force, how you are doing and how we can apply the force. Now we are doing that work. We are applying some push and we are applying some pull. Every time whenever we are enter some office, that time a gate is marked with some push, sometime push and sometime pull. Different mechanism on the basis of a different mechanism. So that push and that pull is a force. Means by applying a push and pull, what we are doing guys? By applying a push, we are changing the position of a door. Means initially that door is available at that position. When we are applying some push, that door is moving. That door is moving in a one direction. Whenever we are applying some pull, that time some pull, we are applying some pull, that what again we are changing that position of that door. So that means push and pull, we can say that push and pull is a force. So dear students, to define the force, first of all of has to see the effect of forces. So before explaining the definition of a force, first of all we are discuss what is the effect of force. In previously example we are seeing that whenever we are applying some push and pull, the door is moving. The door is start to move and change that position. So first of all we discuss the effect of a forces. Means whenever we are applying a force on any object, which type of effect will be occurs. We means what the force can do and what changes a force can be bring out. Okay. So we are discuss these 5 points. First of all, a force can produce the following effects. First effect, that if you are applying a force on a stationary object, means that type, that body at a stationary position, whenever we are applying some force, it start to move. Mean whenever we are applying a force on a stationary object, whenever we are applying a force on a stationary object, it start to move. Means in simple language you can say a stationary object start to move whenever we are applying a sufficient amount of a force. There are one more point that if the sufficient amount of force is applied on any bodies, that time it start to move. A force can stop a moving object. Let's suppose you are driving any car and some bike. That what are you doing if you want to stop them? We are applying some brake. Now what is the done by the brake? The brake is completely mechanism and it will apply some forces. If you know that which type of forces, that is a plate is rotate on your tires and that tires will be, that brake are stuck that plates. So what happening? That is apply some forces. In normal language you can say, if you are any ball is coming towards your direction, that you are applying some force and that ball will be stopped. So by applying a force we can stop any moving bodies. That is a second point. A force can change the speed of a moving body. If a student is running with some speed, that is a slow, after one more person is coming nearby to that distance and applying some force on that back side of that person. So what happening? The person that is moving after some time and applying some force, that body will be moving very fast as compared to a previously. So by applying some force we can increase the speed of a moving body. Okay, force can change the direction of a body. Let's suppose that is a handle of a bicycle. We are applying that position. So whenever we are applying a force on one direction, in that direction, on that handle we are applying the force in that direction, and on that handle we are applying the force in that direction. So what happening, guys? That is start to change the direction of a cycle. Means we are applying a force in that direction and in that direction. Now the direction will be changes. So force can change the direction of a moving body. Force can change the shape and size of a body. Let's suppose that is a balloon. Okay, let's see, that is a balloon. So if you are applying some force in that direction, so what happening? It will be flat. In that conditions it will be flatted. So by applying some force we are changing the shape of a bodies. Let's suppose that is a spring. Okay, that is a normal condition of a spring. If we are applying some force in that direction, so after some time its length will be increases. So what happening? Whenever we are applying some forces, we are changing the shape of that spring. So whenever we are applying any force, we can do any activities on the body. We can change the stationary to a motion to a stationary. We can increase the speed, we can stop the object, we can change the direction, we can change the shape and size of an object. So on the basis of that effect we can define the force. A force or push. A force is a pull or push which change or tends to change, means try to change. If the amount of force is not sufficient, that time force want to change, but that amount of force is not sufficient, so it just try to change. So we are writing here changes or tends to change the state of rest, or tends to a state of rest, or uniform motion or direction of a motion of any object. So all the things, and you can write the all 5 points are summarized in these points. All the 5 points are summarized in that definition. Okay, so push and pull which change or tends to change the state of rest, or uniform motion or direction of a motion of any object is called a force. Force is the interaction between the object and source which are applied the push and pull, it is a vector quantity. What do you mean by the vector quantities? Let's see. First of all, vector quantity means it has a magnitude as well as direction also. So vector quantity means it has having a magnitude as well as direction. If you are applying a force in that, let's see, it doesn't matter what is the amount, but that force is called that is a representation of a magnitude, but it is a vector. If you are applying the arrow sign on the above of that symbol, so that is a symbol of a vector. Okay, that is a vector quantity. Means in that condition, that is a direction. That in that condition, it is applying a force in the right hand side, and in that condition, if you are applying the force in that direction, so that is a opposite direction of a force. Okay, student. So force is a vector quantity. It having a magnitude as well as direction also. Now, if you are applying a multiple forces on a single body, if you are applying more than one force on a single body, that what happening, guys? Sometimes the body are not moving. Sometimes body not moving. In previously we are discussed that if you are applying a sufficient amount of force on a body, it start to move, and there is some effect of a force. But if you are applying more than one forces on a single body, but effect of force is not happening, so in that case we are discussed the balanced and unbalanced force. If more than one forces is applied on a single body, that time we discuss the what do you mean by the balanced and unbalanced force. If first of all we discuss the balanced force, if a number of forces means more than one forces acting on an object does not produce we are applying more than one forces, but all forces are not produce any change in state of rest or uniform motion or direction of motion, they are called a balanced force. What do you mean by the balanced force? Means let's suppose that is the body. If you are leaving that, it moving in a downward direction. Why it is moving in a downward direction? Because the gravitational force is applied in a one direction, that is in a downward direction gravitational force is applied. So due to the influence of a gravitational force, it is moving in a downward direction. But if you are applying some force by 2 fingers, now what happen? It not moving in a downward direction. So why it is not moving in a downward direction? Because now we are applying a force in upward direction, same amount of that weight. Means one force is applied in a downward direction and other force is applied in a upward direction. Both are balancing to each other. So that body is not in a moving condition. So that is an example of a balanced force. Okay. Now we discuss one by one all the examples of a balanced force, first, second and third. So first one is a person holding a briefcase in a hand. There are two options are available. First one is a holding a briefcase and second one is a pick a briefcase. But in that case we are talking about the balance force. Balance means the applied force by a briefcase. Let's suppose that is briefcase. Okay. Now what happening? The briefcase applying a force in a downward direction, that is a mg. Okay. So you can write weight which are applying by a briefcase due to a gravitational attraction force, that is a weight endowed. If you are applying some force and so what happening? Now what happening? If you are holding a briefcase, that means the mg is equivalent to a force applied by a person. Okay. So both are force are a same amount but applied in a opposite direction. That means that briefcase is not in a motion. Means we are writing it already here. That is a condition of a holding a briefcase. Okay. Now a book resting on a table. Okay. If you are placed a book on a table, that it not moving. not only a book but also table, all both are not moving in a condition. Okay, so what happening, book applied some force on a table and table also applied some reaction force in upward direction, both are balanced to each other. Okay, squeezing a lemon. Okay, if you are using some lemon, that tea, that time what happen, we are applying some forces. Okay, so what happening, we are applying a force in a outward direction, at that moving in a, that lemon also applied a force in a outward direction, both are balanced to each other. So these are the example of a balanced force. Unbalanced force means more than two forces and more than one force is applied on a single body, and that body are start to in a motion, means it shows the some effect of a forces. And how many effect of forces, there are many effect of forces is available. If any one effect of forces is shown by that body, means there is a some unbalanced force is available, means there is some net force is available on that condition. So if a number of forces acting on an object, means more than one force is applied on a single body, let's see, one in that direction, one in that direction. These two forces are applied on that block, but that is not in a rest, it's changing that position. So the block will be moving in that direction and coming at that position. So what is the force is applied on that body, means in that case F2 is greater than to a F1. So on that body total force is applied, that is a F2 minus F1. That is a magnitude of applied force. And which is the direction of applied force, that is the direction of motion is same as the applied force direction. If body moving in that direction, so applied force, that is a net force, F2 minus F1 is applied in that direction. If body is moving in that direction, means in that direction, so what is the resultant, in that case resultant is a F1 minus F2. That is a relation, guys. In both the condition magnitude is the same, in both the condition magnitude is same, but the direction is a different, because force is a vector quantity. Force is a vector quantity. In that condition direction is a in that direction, if you are, that is a right, so that is a left. So in that condition body moving in a left direction, in that condition body moving in a right hand direction. Okay, so that is an unbalanced force. Briefcase released from a person hands. If you are released the briefcase, so what is happening, briefcase moving in that direction, moving in a downward direction. Why it is moving in a downward direction? Because we are removing a upward direction force. In previously we are holding the briefcase in a upward direction force, that is not moving. When we are released that, so what happened, it is moving in a downward direction. Why it is moving in that downward direction? Because when we release and whenever we are removing our hand force, that time what happened, the net force is applied in a downward direction. Okay, a stone dropped, etc. Whenever we are dropping any object, so what happen, it is moving in a downward direction. Why it is moving in downward direction? Because it on that body a single force, means gravitational force is applied in a downward direction. That is a unbalanced force examples. Now after completion of a force part, now we are moving a next part, that is a Galileo's experiment. Now first of all see that diagram, what happening in that diagram, guys. Galileo doing some experiment, he uses some inclined plane, one inclined plane. Okay, a body is placed at that position. When a body is released, let's suppose it is moving with the velocity of a v. When that body is moving on that inclined plane, that what happening, guys, in that condition Galileo's experience that after some time due to that inclined plane that velocity is a v dash, and compare the velocity of v and velocity of v dash and found that the velocity v dash is greater than of a v. So when a particle is moving on an inclined plane, speed will be increases. Speed increases. Okay, that is a C. So when a body is moving on an inclined plane, that what happening guys, the speed will be increases. Now that experiment is again repeated, but the inclined plane will be changes. In that case the body is moving from upper to a lower point, but in that case body is moving from a lower point to a upper point. Galileo again observed all the time of speed. The first he observed that speed is a v. After some time when that body is moving in an upward direction, the velocity and you can say that speed will be changes, that is a v dash. Now compare, now Galileo again compared that speed and found that v dash is less than 2 a v. So why? It is just reverse. In previous case when body is moving in an inclined plane in a downward direction, that is a downward, and in that case body is moving in a upward. Okay, so what happen in a downward motion, the speed will be increases, but in a upward direction what happening guys, the speed will be decreases. Speed decreases. Okay, now after some time he done and he took one more experiment. He changed and remove the slope. So now we are using only a some flat surface. Initial that velocity is a v. After some time we are again observed that velocity of a v dash. Means now compare that speed, then he found that the v dash is equivalent to a v. Means speed remains same. Means in that case he says he found that speed is a remains same. Speed is remain same. Okay, so Galileo's are thinking that what happening in that cases. He took one more experiments on the changes of that slope. Let's see. In first of case he take some bowl of a half circle part and that body is placed at here. That is the height of that bowl. Okay, that is the height of that bowl. He released that bowl and that ball on that point, and he says that ball is moving till the approaching and it want to the same height. Means it is moving to at the same height, means that height is also h. Means that body is continuously moving till it not approaching the same height small h. In second part he changing that ball and that increase that length. When that length is a small 1/4 of the circle, but now it increase the length. Now he again drop that ball, but again that ball is moving continuously till it is not approaching the same height h. That ball is moving continuously, but in second part it covers a long distance as compared to a previous. I mean, why it is covering a long distance? Because it want to approach the same height at which it is released. Because that ball want to a same height, it want to achieve a same height, that is the reason it moving continuously. Okay, after achieving that height it is moving come down. Okay, now in next part it completely change that slope, that is a horizontal. One side slope is completely converted into a horizontal slope. So what happening guys, in that case that body cannot be achieved in any conditions the same height at which it is releases. So that body is continuously moving with a constant speed, that is a v. Why it is continuously moving? Because it want to achieve the same height h at that point it is releases, but that body cannot be achieved that height, so it is moving continuously. On the basis of a Galileo's experiment, Newton's conclude some results. So Newton concluded the idea suggested by a Galileo and was formulated the laws of a Newton's. So Newton's used the most of the work of a Galileo's, means all the experiments of a Galileo's. He used all the experiment of a Galileo's, and that time it gives the some Newton's laws, and all laws are applicable at the all conditions. So now we are moving a Newton's law of motion. So Newton's first law of motion says every body remains in a state of a rest or uniform motion. Every body remains in a state of a rest or a uniform motion in a straight line unless it is compelled by some external force. Means if you are any bodies, if you are apply a force on a body and that moving in a continuously until the other force is not applied on that body. Means if we are standing at that position, yes, I am standing on that position, I am not moving until the other external force is not applied on my body. So that is the first law of a Newton. It says that every body in a state of rest or a uniform motion in a straight line unless it is not compelled by an external force. It is compelled by an external force. Definition. So on the basis of that, the definition of a Newton first law, according to the first law of motion, if there is a no force, if there is a no force, there is a no change in state of rest or uniform motion. Means if that body at rest means initial velocity is equal to 0. So that body is not start and not changing their position until a external force is not applied. Okay, first thing. Second thing, that body is continuously moving with a speed of a 2 meter per second. It is continuously moving with a speed of a 2 meter per second until a external force is not. Means if you are capturing and we are taking a data after 2 minutes, it again and continuously moving with a 2 meter per second. Again it is moving with a 2 meter per second. If there is a no external force is applied on that body. That is a Newton first law. If any body at a rest, it always at rest if any external force is not applied on that body. That is a Newton first law of motion. Okay, now we are moving important points. In other words, if a force is applied, it may change the state of rest or uniform motion. Okay, if the force is applied, it can change the state of rest or motion. If the force is not sufficient, means the amount of force is not sufficient, that what happen? It may not produce a change but only try to do so. Let's suppose someone says now apply a force on a wall. So you can change the position of a wall? No. Why we are not changing that position of a wall? Because the force applied by me and by you is not sufficient. But if we are applying some force on a wall by using some hydraulic machines, that time we can change the position of a wall. Why the hydraulic machines change the position of a wall and why we are not change that position? Because the amount of force, both are want to change that position of a wall, but the amount of force applied by me is not sufficient, but I want to try to do. but I want to try to do and I'm not successful. Why? Because the amount of force is not sufficient. But the force applied by some machines and hydraulic jack and hydraulic machines, that is sufficient amount of force is available on that machines, so it can do it easily. Hence force is that which changes or try to change the state of rest or uniform motion of a body is a straight line. Okay, hence force is that which change or try to change the state of rest or uniform motion of a body in a straight line. Okay students, that is some explanation of a Newton's first law. Now after that we are moving to a more important points of a Newton's first law, that is a inertia. That is a new term for you guys. Now we are moving to a next point. So what do you mean by the inertia? So guys, inertia, that every object having some tendency, the tendency of the body to oppose the change in state of rest or uniform motion. Means what happening guys, that is a block. So when we are applying some force, little amount of, just a small amount of force we are applying on that body, but is not moving. Why it is not moving? Because it doesn't want to change in state of rest. Because it doesn't want to change in state of rest, that is the property of a body, is called a tendency of a body to oppose the change in state of rest or uniform motion in a straight line is called the inertia. Every body having that type of inertia. That is body is a 10 kilogram. So if you are increase the body and that is a 100 kilogram body. Now that tendency means that body having a more tendency to oppose the external force which are want to change the state of rest of that body. Means if any external force is applied by any agent on that body and that agent want to change the position of that object, but that body is not want to change its state of that motion and state of rest easily, that tendency of a body is called inertia. Means every body want to doesn't change its own position, state of rest and state of motion. That property and the tendency of a body is called inertia. Okay, so if we increase the mass, means let's suppose after applying some amount of force, that is 10 Newton, that body start to move. But if same amount of force is applied on that body, it doesn't start to move because the mass of that body is high as compared to a previous body. So if we are increase the mass, that time the inertia is also increases. Means inertia is increases means the tendency to oppose that changes is also increases. Okay, now so Newton's first law of motion is also called the law of inertia. So the other name of Newton's first law of motion is a law of inertia. Okay students, now it is difficult to move a heavier body than a lighter one. Yes, if we are compare the 10 kilogram and 100 kilogram box, that it is very tough to move a 100 kilogram box is compared to a 10 kilogram box. Similarly, it is difficult to stop a moving heavier body. If any bike that is moving a very 60 km per hour speed, so we can't stop that body. But if any cycle is moving with a 10 km per hour speed, so we can stop that cycle at very easily. So that is a difference them. Okay, so it is very difficult to stop a heavier body as compared to a lighter body as compared to other. Thus we conclude that mass of the body is the measure of inertia. Means if a more mass, that means more inertia. That body having a large mass, that body having a Large inertia. Type of inertia. There are three types of inertia. First one is a inertia of rest, means in that condition body doesn't want to change the state of rest. Inertia of motion, in that condition body doesn't want to change its motion. And third one is a inertia of a direction. Third one is a inertia of a direction. So one by one we are discuss all the inertia. So first of all we are talking about the inertia of a rest. The tendency of a body to oppose the change in its state of rest. When some external unbalanced force is applied on it, it is called the inertia of a rest. Is called the inertia of a rest. First example of a inertia of rest. A person sitting in a bus falls backward when the bus is suddenly start. So what happening in that can? Let's suppose I am sitting here, okay, and my bottom part is contact to the surface of that vehicle. That vehicle start, let's suppose that is a vehicle surface, and we are sitting here on that chair. A person is sitting on that, okay. If that surface is moving suddenly, so what happening, guys? A person which are standing and sitting on that chair, what happens? That lower part is start to move. The lower part which are in contact on a surface of that vehicle is start to move. But the upper part of that body is on its own position, means it doesn't want to change its position. So it is backward direction. So what happen? Whenever any bus is starts suddenly, that what happening? The bus falls backward. The person sitting in a bus falls backward. The person experiences a force in that direction. What is the reason behind that? The vehicle is suddenly start to move. That bottom part of that body is start to move in that direction. But upper part until in a rest, and it oppose that changes. And it oppose that changes. After some time that opposition is a very low, so it is moving toward that body, okay. That is a example of a inertia of a rest. So all explanation are writing here. We are explain on the form of a picturization form. Now one more example of a inertia of a rest. We are taking a cup, okay, that is a cardboard. A one coin is placed on that. Initially the coin and the cardboard are at a rest. Whenever we are applying some jerk on that cardboard, very suddenly the cardboard is moving in that direction, but coin having some mass, and that is having some tendency to oppose that changes, means that coin doesn't want to move with the cardboard. If we are applying the jerk very fast, that time what happening? The cardboard is moving in that direction and coin is dropped in that glass. Coin is dropping in that glass. Why coin is not moving with the cardboard? Means whenever we are applying a jerk at a very fast rate, that time the tendency of a coin which are placed upper body of a cardboard, it having a tendency to oppose that changes. It doesn't want to change in its position, so it opposes that. So if that opposition at the time of, let's suppose it opposes only for a 0.1 second, and in that time if cardboard is moving, in that time if cardboard is moving, that time the coin will be dropping in a glass, okay. So what is the reason behind that? The reason behind that coin having some mass and it having some tendency which want to oppose that changes. So that is the inertia of a rest. If a coin is placed on a thick card over a mouth on a tumbler, and you can say glass, and the card is given a sudden jerk. Suddenly we are applying some force, that is a jerk. the coin will drop into the tumbler. Why? The reason is that the motion of the card is a very quick. The motion of the card is a very quick and it cannot be imparted to the coin due to inertia of a rest. Due to a inertia of a rest. Now we are moving to a next. So next one is a beat. Let's see that diagram, and at the time of vacations everyone see that. Okay, that lady is hitting that carpet with the some stick. Why it use that stick? For a punishment? No guys, it want to clean that carpet. So what is the reason to why that is hit with that stick? Because whenever we beat a carpet, let's suppose that is a carpet and these are the some dust particle which are present on the surface of a carpet. When that lady applied a force and applied some force with the stick, that what happening guys, if that stick applied on force on that point, so what happening, the area of a carpet is moving a downward. The carpet is moving downward due to a heating of a stick. So that dust particle are in the all dust particle are not moving downward direction, it is in a air. Now before that all dust particle is stick with the carpet, but when that stick applies some force on a dust particle, the carpet is moving in a downward direction and the all particles are coming in a air. So in same position, if carpet is moving in that form, so what happening, that dust particle is moving outward the carpet. Okay, now so we are writing, we beat a carpet with a stick to remove the dust particle. When the carpet is beaten, it is suddenly set into a motion, means carpet start to a motion, it moving in a downward direction. Okay, the dust particle tends to remain at rest due to a inertia of a rest and hence fall off, and hence it is fall off, means the carpet is moving in down up and inside. Okay, let's see what happening guys. Let's see that is a some carpet. Okay, now so what happening guys, when a stick is moving, apply some force, then what happening, that carpet is moving in that direction. So dust particle now freely, it not stick to a carpet, so that is the reason it comes in the air. So all are moving downward and away. So that is the reason why the moms and the other persons are stick a carpet for clean them. Okay, now when a branch of a tree is shaken, most of the students doing that in some school times, and you can say at the times of some colonies, he are moving and they want to break some fruits at the time of moving. So he applying some force on branches of a tree. So what happening, let's suppose that is a branch, okay, and some fruits is applying on here, that is not a fruit. Okay, so that is a branch and a fruit is hanging here. Okay, when a person is start to moving that branch, so what happen, it is moving in an inward direction and outward direction, but that fruit doesn't want to move, and due to that reason that is break from here and it is moving in a downward direction. That is the reason of a fruits dropping. A pile of a carom, that is a carom piles or are arranged in upward direction. If you are apply some striker on that bottom piles, that what happen, if you applied that force very fast, so that coin is moving in what direction, that pile is moving in that direction, and all are arranged separately and it is downward direction. So behind that, what is the reason, guys? Reason is that inertia of a rest. A pile of carom coins remain intact when the lowest coin is struck by a striker forcefully. If your striker speed is a very slow, that time it is moving just half and it is all are dropping. If that is moving very fast, so what happening? It is moving very fast and all are moving straight direction. All are the coins are not dropping, all our piles are not dropped, guys. So these are the some example of a inertia of a rest. Now we are start to inertia of a motion. The tendency of a body to oppose its state of a motion. In previously, body opposed the state of rest. In that condition, body opposed the state of a motion. If some unbalanced forces are applied on it, it is called the inertia of a motion. It is called the inertia of a motion. A man carelessly getting down on a moving bus. You know that experience. If the car is moving in that direction and our body is also moving in that direction with some speed. If you are jumping to a outward direction, that what happening, guys? Our complete body, initially our complete body moving with some speed. If you are just jumping on a ground, so what happening? When our foot comes to contact with the ground, it suddenly want to a rest. But our body part is, our upper body parts want to a moving in the same direction of a bus. So what happen? We are just dropped. So that is a careless dropping. Okay. So a man carelessly getting down a moving bus falls forward. We are falling in a forward direction, and the reason being that his feet come to rest suddenly when we jump from inside of the bus to a outside, that is the ground surface. So in that case, his feet come to rest suddenly, whereas the upper part of the body retains the forward motion, and upper part of the body retains that motion. So it is moving and fall in a forward direction. So that is a inertia of a direction. Okay. So students, in that lecture we are discussed the Newton's first law, inertia, inertia of rest, inertia of motion, inertia of a direction. Now we are giving some questions for you. That is some homework, guys, to you. That is a homework. Okay, students. Now write all the questions on your homework diaries. On which physical quantity does the inertia depends? First question. Second, state the Newton first law of motion. What is the definition? What is the explanation of an inertia of motion? Next, define the inertia. In your modules, the question number A1 to A19 all are based on today's lecture. Okay, students, these are the assignment for you. Now do your work carefully in your copies. Have a nice day and thank you.